A couple of projects I've been working on in Claude Code, trying to inspire people to try using Claude Code to build things. We're entering 2026 and it's becoming so easy to build stuff that you should really be looking into starting some kind of business using artificial intelligence. I'll show you one I duplicated in 5 minutes before this, as well as another one that I've been playing around with for the last couple of days. Let's look at some news because we have some for the first time in, I'd say, about 2 weeks. ChatGPT, or OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, have just announced something called ChatGPT Health. Very interesting, and I've got a lot to say about this because I think this is a fascinating push. Basically, ChatGPT Health is going to be a dedicated experience inside of the ChatGPT app, or maybe even its own app, I'm not sure yet. All of your health data into one place. It's going to allow you to connect into things like Apple Health. It's going to allow you to bring in your doctor's results, tests that you've had, blood tests, your genome, etc., all into one place inside of ChatGPT, so you can use it as a health assistant. A lot of health tech startups are probably having a bad day because this will mean game over for an awful lot of different pieces of software out there. I'm sure even for companies like Whoop, they are looking at this, oh my God, this is a problem. Because ChatGPT has 900 million users and a large percentage, I think it's about 30 or 40%, they use it for health or even mental health assistance. They will talk to ChatGPT about these kind of issues. What this means is there's going to be a formal place to do that. Right now, it's relatively ephemeral. You can chat to ChatGPT about your health. You can say, oh, my tendon is hurting. I've been running and lifting. What do you think it is? What stretches can I do? ChatGPT will help you. One and done. However, this means that there's going to be a consolidated area that is going to hold your health data inside of ChatGPT. Couple of things going on here. One, the big news is getting this past the lawyers at OpenAI, because I'm sure the lawyers are like, oh, this is some risky stuff we're doing here. This is the most valuable data. And if they have any kind of breach, if they have any kind of privacy issues, this is going to come back on OpenAI like a ton of bricks. So I think getting this sorted legally, amazing job, whoever's been working on that. The other thing is, I think this is primarily a lock-in play. There's not much of a moat keeping you using one particular artificial intelligence. In fact, there's a lot of data going around right now about how the percentage of AI use for ChatGPT has fallen. It's fallen a lot. Over the last couple of years, 100% of AI use was through ChatGPT. That has been going mainly because of Gemini. Gemini 3 has shown itself to be an alternative. And because it's part of their Google ecosystem, people are like, cool, I'll try it out. I trust Google. I trust Gemini. Gemini has been slowly taking away the traffic from ChatGPT. The problem with large language models is there's not much of a moat. You can move between them easily. I highly recommend you do. I think you should use Claude. I think you should use Gemini. You should use ChatGPT for different tasks. Sometimes one is better, sometimes the other is better. And there's very little switching cost going between them. What the companies need to create some kind of lock-in. So ChatGPT has memory, persistent memory, which allows it to remember your past conversations. That gives them a moat in that if you've been using it for the last couple of years, it knows more about you and it's more useful as a result of that. So that is a weak moat. It certainly is a moat, but it's not that strong because now the other companies are adding their own persistent memory. What I think this is with ChatGPT Health is a much stronger, much deeper moat. If you have uploaded all of your medical data and you've allowed ChatGPT to track your nutrition, workouts, basically everything about you for years, that creates a deep moat because moving that information to another AI is going to be a pain. Getting even a small number of users into this ecosystem and giving all of their personal private health data to ChatGPT creates this lock-in, which I think is going to be really valuable when they move forward to an initial public offering, which they're looking at doing this year or next. They'll be able to say to investors, we have 100 million people who have given us their health data. That's powerful. This coincides with news from Andrew Curran. He broke this news about Utah becoming the first state to allow AI to renew medical prescriptions. Huge. So no doctor is involved. So the AI is going to be renewing the prescriptions. Obviously, this is a bit different to it giving the prescription in the first place. That's going to come later. But it's able to renew. So the company, Doctronic, has also secured malpractice insurance policy for their AI. That is huge. One of the protections that doctors and lawyers and accountants and various professions have against AI is that AI cannot be held legally responsible because it is not a person, not a legal entity that can be sued. You can't sue AI, you can sue a doctor, you can sue a lawyer. We are moving towards a future where AI can be held liable, and Doctronic has already got this malpractice insurance policy. So they've managed to get an insurance company to insure the AI for the AI's decisions. That's interesting. Most importantly, this repeat prescription tool is good, really good. Their data shows it matches human doctors' treatment plans 99.2% of the time. So 99% of the time, the doctor and the AI are agreeing. So you're thinking, oh, what about that 1%? That's really dangerous. People are going to die in that 1% because they'll be given the wrong prescription, they'll be given too many painkillers, whatever it is. So that 1%, that's risk, right? Yeah, it's a risk, but if we look at the numbers, the discrepancy between the doctors and the AI, whenever a case leads to a discrepancy, it is then reviewed by human experts. What they found, let me find the data, when they review the AI and human doctor having different decisions, it is found that the AI has made the right decision, a superior decision in 36.1% of cases. And it finds that the AI and the human make the same or just as good decisions 55% of the time. And the human is better than the AI 9% of the time. So that discrepancy between the humans and the doctors, that's actually caused by the AI having better judgment than the human. This is game over for, let's say, pharmacists. Pharmacists, especially in the UK, will often do the repeat prescriptions. They no longer are needed to do this because this is a better system. It is better than humans at working out the correct repeat prescription. I would not be surprised to see a couple of years from now, OpenAI and ChatGPT Health involved in prescriptions. That would be a very weird world, but it makes sense if ChatGPT has this unified history of all your health. So it's not your health records fragmented over different doctors, over different clinics, over different companies, but instead in one place. They have the most complete image of your health. They are in the best position to feed that into an AI to help you with prescriptions, treatment plans, insurance, etc. This is a big play. A lot of people are just seeing this as this is just like Apple Health. It's a cool thing. No, this is a data play. This is about getting the most valuable data you can get, which is private medical data, into a system to lock people into ChatGPT and potentially building off that platform by looking at prescriptions, treatment plans, insurance, etc. Very interesting news. High risk, but extremely high reward if OpenAI can pull it off. Not as exciting as image or video generation models, but more important than the cool stuff we see online. I'm going to hop over to some questions. Hey everybody. Hey Mohsin, how are you? Not seeing any questions. That is fine. It's been a relatively quiet week. So for the last few days, I've been doing ad hoc presentations. Yesterday, I did a book report about Ethan Mollick's co-intelligence because there's not much AI news going on right now because we're still in that weird holiday period. I am giving a webinar at 6 p.m. about giving AI workshops to businesses. It's a good way to earn money. I charge about $2,000 per hour for giving that, and I'll be showing you how you can do that as well. So walking through what the demand is, what level of AI knowledge you need to be able to fulfill that demand, and how to get good at things like public speaking, at presentations, so that you can give workshops and access that kind of money. So I'm going to be talking about that today, Thursday. Yep. Oh, I've got the date wrong here. I'm so bad at time. It's going to be Thursday, the 8th of January, 2026. That is my fault entirely. But the correct thing is here on the website. I shall fix that very shortly. And you can sign up. It is totally free to come. And if you cannot make it at 6 p.m. tonight, no problem. I'll get the recording sent the day after. Hopefully I'll see a few of you there. I think we have 100 and something people RSVP'd, so it should be a good one. Naomi says, how long do you think most jobs have left? And do you think people are getting degrees? I think we will continue to have jobs. What is happening with AI is not necessarily the wholesale replacement of a job. It's going to take certain tasks within a job. Every job is a bundle of tasks. Seeing patients, writing prescriptions, admin, continuous professional development, networking. AI will threaten certain tasks more than others. So things that are more empathy-based, more about understanding and talking to people, humans are going to be, at least for now, ahead on that. Things that are more physical, so require physical dexterity, robotics is still behind. Also things that are less algorithmic. So AI is very good at doing something when it has patterns, when it has a set of rules it can follow. It's fantastic. That's why it's good at coding. Coding has a structure. It's also why they're not so good at more creative tasks, because it still requires a human to make leaps in thought. So anything that is non-algorithmic, physical, and requires human empathy or human connection, they will tend to be safer. Doesn't mean they're safe, but they tend to be safer. Even in those jobs, though, that require those things, there will be certain parts of those jobs, certain tasks that AI will take. When AI takes those tasks, what it means is the people in that profession can focus on the human parts, the non-algorithmic parts, the empathy-based parts, the physical parts. They can focus there where the AI cannot do the work. And they'll be able to do more because they don't have to do all the admin, they don't have to do the algorithmic stuff in the background. That means that we need less people doing each job. That's going to be how it affects industries. Even in things like plumbing, people are always using plumbing as that's a nice, safe job. You're never going to be in trouble there. Even in something like plumbing, there are parts of that job which will be taken by AI. For example, admin, invoicing, ordering parts, whatever. Because those tasks from within the superset of plumbing are taken away, we now need less plumbers. That means the market starts to shrink in terms of how many plumbers we have. So there's second order consequences. Now you might say, no, actually we're going to need just as many because now the plumbers are more productive, or now the lawyers are more productive, or now the doctors are more productive. They can see more cases, they can see more patients. Maybe. That requires demand for services to be increasing as well as the additional supply. We have no mechanism through which we think that's going to happen. If anything, demand is going to drop because so many people will have their jobs disrupted. So this is a very long way to say it's complicated and we don't know. It is coming for jobs, and I am someone who is very pro AI, but I'm not so pro AI that I will say things like, oh, it will just replace all the jobs and make new jobs and everything is going to be fine. I think that's naive. I also think that even if that does happen, even if it does replace all the jobs 20, 30 years from now and we are still employed, there's still going to be decades of chaos. When mining was shut down, miners were retrained, put into other industries, but for decades, those communities were hit really hard, and whole towns ceased to make any money, ceased to exist. So even if the long-term future of it is positive, it's still going to be messy for the next few decades for the people who are directly involved. In terms of people going to university and degree, I don't know. I have cousins, nephews, nieces who are at that stage, so they are going off to university. I think going into a degree that goes into a specific job, going to law school to become a lawyer, or medical school to become a medic, any of those degrees are far more risky than something that is a bit more generally applicable. Because if you are training to go into a profession, that locks you into one route. So if you've gone through medical school, you're going to become a doctor. We may not need as many doctors. If you go through law school and you're going into the law profession, you may find you come out at the end of that and it's being decimated. It's something more generic that teaches you how to think, teaches you critical thinking, teaches you flexibility, entrepreneurship, how to learn. I think these are going to be the more useful degrees moving forward because we do not know what is coming. Anything that locks us into one route is extremely risky. Having a broad education that allows flexibility is probably the play. I don't know. And anyone who says they do know is stupidly overconfident or they're trying to sell you something. The honest answer is we don't really know. Keep your options open. It's a tricky one. How long do most jobs have left? I think jobs will be fine. It's certain tasks and there won't be as many jobs within each industry. So I'm going to have a look at, Cohen. Oh, I think this is actually relevant to what you just asked, Naomis. We're seeing encoding in programming right now. especially with Claude Code and Opus 4.5, the recent model from Anthropic. This tweet sums it up perfectly. 2021, AI for coding is useless. 2022, it can't write a whole function. 2023, it can't pass a coding interview. 2024, it can't build an app. 2025, it can't even handle complex projects. 2026, oh no. This is the pattern that we're going to see in many industries at different times due to the jagged frontier. AI progresses at different rates in different industries. We know that. With coding, a couple of years ago, it was useless and it created absolute spaghetti code and it was totally unusable for production. We are moving towards a place where it can do the jobs we need and we can give stuff Claude Code and it can spin up projects for us. And what we keep doing, because humans love to do this, is we keep moving the goalposts. We will say, oh, AI will be useful when it can do this, or intelligent when it can do that. As soon as it can do that task, we're like, oh, it can't do this, and we move the goalposts back. We've been doing this with computers and AI for years. The best gauge was, oh, it will never beat a human in chess. And then Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov, early 90s, I think it was. So we moved the goalpost back. We said, oh, yeah, sure, it can do chess, but that's fine because you can just brute force chess. You can just work out the number of moves. It will never be able to play Go because Go has such a huge number of combinations and permutations that it's impossible to brute force that calculation. It would take longer than the length of the universe to calculate these. So it's not going to be able to intuit and really understand Go. And then we had Lee Sedol was beaten by AlphaGo, and then we had AlphaZero afterwards. And so Go was also a solved problem. So we moved the goalposts again. And we're like, okay, that's fine, but these are silly little games. And it can never operate in the real world. It's never going to drive a car in a city, for example, and then boom, self-driving cars. And we just keep moving the goalposts. People will comment on this and be like, oh, well, they can't actually drive. That is resistance from the law. People being freaked out about jobs being taken in trucking and transportation. That is resistance from us. So we move the goalposts continuously so that we feel less useless, basically. And this is happening in every single industry. And coding, programming, is being hit really hard because a lot of these AI labs are focusing on this problem. They're not focusing on medical problems. They're not focusing on necessarily engineering problems. They're focusing on coding first and foremost because that's what they know. And because of that, we are now moving into a year where coding is increasingly considered a solved problem. Now we're moving up the chain saying it can't architect software. We'll solve that next. And then it goes up to the next thing, which is, oh, but we need to make sure it's actually building things that are useful, things that people actually want, product management. Okay, we will then solve that in the next couple of years. So we're just going to keep rolling back and humans will keep resisting this. But this example here, we're going to see it in every single industry and it's going to happen at different rates and individuals within the industry are going to have to go through this process. It's useful to understand what is happening to that industry now so you can see how that's going to be applied to your industry, to your niche, because it is coming for better or worse. It is coming. It's an inevitability at this point. I'm investing in your AI course. Do you have sample material and are the sessions recorded? Which one specifically? I have lots of free courses if you need examples. Do you mean the AI workshop kit? If it's the AI workshop kit, I don't have specific sample material, although there is this, the AI workshop masterclass. This is free on my website. You can have a look at it, which talks about similar topics. There's a couple of interactive tools here as well. In terms of other sessions recorded, so the AI workshop kit has different components. One is a fully recorded course that you work through in your own time, that's self-paced. So that is all fully recorded. And then the other element is the cohort, so you'll be working live with the other people. I'm not sure how many we're up to for starting next week, but we'll all be working through it together. There are live sessions for that, but they are recorded. You're able to access the recordings afterwards. If you can't make it to a live session, you can ask a question before, and I'll cover it at the beginning of the live, and we'll send you the time code. And there are the recordings of all of the other live sessions before. So yeah, we record everything, we keep everything. There's a huge amount of material in there. If you have questions, shoot them to Harminder at bstreet.com. He's probably in contact with you, but he's the best person to chat to, and he'll be able to send you samples and give the full details. It's the live portion that could be an issue for my availability. Yeah, so this is Because we have people from all over the world, we have people in Australia, West Coast of America, East Coast, just everywhere. The live sessions are always tricky in terms of scheduling. We make sure it's recorded so everyone gets access and open it up to ask questions beforehand so I can get answers to you. Even if you're not there to hear the answers, I can still answer directly. We also have the community as well. So I'm in there, other past students are in there, other workshop facilitators. So we're all there to help each other. The live sessions are useful, but if you can't make them, we've got a few kind of accommodations to make sure that you still get the value from them as well. So hopefully that's useful. Thank you, Mark. For anyone who has no idea what we're talking about there, come to the webinar tonight. I'm doing one more webinar and I'm kicking off my AI workshop kit next Monday. So I'm doing a webinar tonight talking about it at 6 p.m. London time, which for me is 8 p.m. because I'm currently in Cyprus. And I'm going to be talking about how you can become an AI educator and give workshops in your industry, your niche. So you need people who are good at communicating to their industry, to their peers, why they need to pay attention to artificial intelligence, because it is coming. You can get paid because businesses are panicking about this. They know they need to get a grip on AI. Helping them is a good way to make money. I charge about $2,000 per hour. Okay, I'm going to hop over to something. Oh, here we go. Mark said, one-time fee, then material is mine to use. Yep. Yeah. So there's a lifetime license that allows you to use the materials forever. We don't charge royalties. Other education companies charge royalties. Every time you give a workshop, they ask how many people, how much you're charging, who is it, etc. And then they charge you a royalty. We don't do any of that. Instead, we give you all the materials, we give you the training, we give you the business assets so that you can do well. We find the other way a bit too gross. We want our people to do well. I'm going to hop over to, where is it? Oh, there's a swear here. I hope that's not going to get me banned from YouTube. Okay, I'll get rid of that on the screen. I don't know how to get rid of that. So I saw this on Twitter yesterday. He's built something called Just Effing Cancel, which allows you to find all your subscriptions in 90 seconds. You upload a CSV or a PDF file. It finds all your subscriptions and it gives you cancel links. You can cancel Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, whatever it is. You can find your subscriptions, cancel them quickly. It costs $5 to see your full list, one-time fee, and then you get insta-cancel links. So you created justcancel.io. Super cool idea. If you've heard of something called Rocket Money, so Rocket Money is similar to this, but more fleshed out. But Rocket Money, I think you pay a subscription. So it's a little bit ironic. You pay a subscription to cancel your subscriptions, which doesn't really make any sense to me. That's a bit gross. So this guy built Just Effing Cancel, where you upload your bank statements, just drop them in, it will analyze them, discard, so it doesn't store anything about you, and it will give you a list of all the things that you should cancel and a link to immediately cancel. I thought that's cool. I wonder how hard it is to build something like that. I built it. It took me about 4 or 5 minutes to build a working prototype. And I wanted to use this as an example to show you how powerful the AI tools we have are right now. I basically gave it the tweet that says find all your subscriptions in less than 90 seconds. I gave Claude that tweet and I said, hey, I think this is a really cool idea. How would we build thus? Claude was like, cool, I'll have a look. It worked out the core architecture, which is a CSV parser, subscription detection engine. You could use blah, 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 blah. Cancel link database, mapping each subscription to its actual cancellation. This is manual work to build or maintain, or you could scrape it. We're going to scrape it. A simple paywall, etc. I said, do you want me to spin up a working prototype? Yeah, cool. I'd go through it and find maybe 10 or so cancel links so we know the format and how one-click cancellation would work. It built this for me. It gave me a little sample bank statement, which I'm gonna drag in to the tool. On the right-hand side, this is just a mock-up version built in JavaScript. I'm gonna drop a sample bank statement in there. Does that work? There we go. Sample bank statement.csv. I'm gonna click find my subscriptions. There we go. And it's gone through that statement, which I've looked at. It's got a couple of hundred entries, a few subscriptions. It's automatically found Adobe Creative Cloud, $50 a month, $720 a year, GPT Plus, $20 a month, $240 a year, etc., etc. It adds them up and works out you could save $2,000 a year on your subscriptions. It gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for free. as well as the cancel link. Then it says, do you want to unlock the rest? You could save another 500 a year. And I can click that, connect it to a Stripe payment. So the person pays me $5 and then it would unlock the rest of these and they'd be able to cancel those. So I've recreated this tool in 4 or 5 minutes. I would adjust it so it can take PDFs. I'd have to go and research all the cancel links. I'd pull together a database of common subscriptions. I'd use AI for all of this, but I wanted to show you how you can go from an idea to a working prototype in minutes. This is an idea that I saw online and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder how he made it. And then I just made one myself. You can do the same. This is more about the ability for you at home to have an idea, go into Claude and say, hey, Claude, this is what I'm thinking. How do we do it? Claude will do it for you. It's so important moving into 2026. Any business idea, any project, any large scale thing, you can get it done. Build a prototype. Have something that's working within a few hours so you can take out to the market and say, hey, do you want to use this? This looks cool. Do you want to pay me for this? Is this interesting to you? It allows you to get to that point quickly. Previously, when we had a business idea, you'd either have to learn to code most of the time, if it's a technical product or any kind of website or any kind of web app. You'd have to learn to code yourself, so that's going to take you months, if not years. Or you'd have to hire somebody, which is going to cost money. And if you are starting a business for the first time, you might not have that money. Or you'd have to find a technical co-founder, a CTO or whatever. I've been to entrepreneurship events over the last 10, 15 years. I'd meet people who would be like, I've got this great idea. It's $1 billion app. I just need to find a technical co-founder or raise $500,000 to hire developers. That excuse is gone. You can spin up a prototype and get it released in a day now. The time from idea to prototype is basically zero. You cannot hide behind the excuse of, I've got a great idea, but I'm not technical anymore. That's totally gone. This is just in Claude. You can do the same thing in ChatGPT. And both Claude and ChatGPT have kind of a more developed coding module as well. So for Claude, it's Claude Code. For ChatGPT, it's something called Codex. That will actually be able to build your project up and help you get it deployed. And you're probably sitting here thinking, okay, that's fine. It's working in the preview, but how do I get it onto a website? Don't ask me, ask Claude. You'd say, okay, this is a cool prototype, but how would I make this public on a website? You ask the AI how to get through the next steps. You could ask it too, how am I going to market this? And it will help with a marketing plan. The barriers to entry for starting a business are basically zero now. That has gone entirely. It is now all about distribution. It's all about marketing because you can build your product like that. You can edit your product. You can add to it so fast. Here we go. So it's going ahead and telling me how I would do it. So Vercel, yeah, personally, that's how I would do it. And it's telling me how to add a Stripe. And again, it's giving me all this code, but if you don't know what any of this means, you can say, I don't know what this means. Do it for me, and it's going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm banging this drum, but it's hard to emphasize how important this is. If you have business ideas, just do them. You should spend the rest of today working out how to do it and launch by the end of the day. It's very possible. Speaking of a business idea, I've had this idea for years. I have my genome. I don't know if you've ever done 23andMe or any kind of genome sequencing. When they give you a file, I have a 5.5 megabyte file, which has all of my, adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, so my genetic code. And I've always had this idea of, I'd love to make a poster, my genome stuck on the wall with each color, each of those, nucleotides being a different color. And I was like, I don't really know how to make that. But last night, after some soju, I was like, I can just do it. You can see it on screen. This is my genome. This is my 5.5 megabyte genome with all of my adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine. I gave it to Claude. I said, hey, here's a file. This is my genome. I want each color, each nucleotide, I think it's called that, to be represented by a pixel color. Show me what that could look like. Here are some variations. That's one color, another color. This is neon. You could do it in many different ways. I like this one, the primary color. I asked it to make it higher res. So this would print at about 30 by 30 inches. We can go higher than this. Let me zoom in on this. Open image in new tab. Yeah, I can. There we go. We can zoom in. Each of these is one of my nucleotides. inside an interesting graphic representation. And I can print this out and stick this up on the wall. I can change the colors, obviously. I might make them all circles instead of pixels. Obviously, it's going to require a high resolution. It's going to be larger, but I think that would be cool. I can talk to Claude and say that's what I want to try. This is potentially a business. Is it a good business? I don't know. But there might be people interested in having their genome physically represented. Or let's say you have a partner, you could get your genome plus your partner's genome, do some intermixing and be like, this is a perfect child genome. There are cool things you can do as a hyper-personalized present. I plugged into Claude Code and said, can you do a graphical visualization of my genome? I said, no problem, here you go. This idea that's been in my head for years. I had a glass of soju last night, downloaded my genome and sod it. Very cool. Your imagination is your only limitation. It is not the tools. The tools can do whatever you throw at them. You just need to work out interesting things to do with the tools. Right, I'm going to finish up. Let me come back to here. Again, I'm giving a webinar tonight. If you are around, it's going to be at 6 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Cyprus time. That's where I am right now. So 6 p.m. UK time, it's free to join. If you go to aiwithkyle.com/webinar, that's going to give you the details and you can sign up totally free. If you cannot make it, but you still want to get the recording, we'll send you the recording probably once it's all been processed. So I'm going to be talking about how you can make money teaching businesses about artificial intelligence, and how much you need to know about artificial intelligence, and it is lower than you think. That's not the key thing. The key is you being able to communicate to people in your industry. That's what's going to make good money. And then I'm going to be talking about how you can get into public speaking, how you can build up your comfort levels on stage, talking live to camera, etc., like this, and how you can turn this into a business and make pretty good money. I charge about $2,000 per hour to give workshops. The most I've charged is $4,000 for 1 hour, which is more than I used to make in a month. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to be giving a webinar tonight, 6 p.m. UK time. So if you go to aiwithkyle.com/webinar, you will get to this page and you can register. While you are there, make sure you join the community or start this free challenge and you'll get my emails. The emails include summaries of my lives. Every morning I do a live like this. I talk about news stories, I talk about things I'm working on, and then that will all be summarized and put into the newsletter for you as well. It's a good way to keep up with what's happening in AI. I try to narrow that down for you. If you like this kind of stuff, there's my YouTube. We've hit 12,500 subscribers. Want to subscribe, that really helps. A huge target this year is to try and get this YouTube built up. And good Lord, it's a slog. Anyone who's ever done it before, much respect. Thank you guys. Hopefully I'll see a few of you at 6 p.m. for the free webinar. I will see you in the morning for another live show. Thank you.